and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who don't know me, I am Uzinhle Mzileni, your host and friend in all things growth and personal development. And for those that are returning, thank you guys for coming back. So today I wanted us to talk about co-parenting. So basically what co-parenting is, it's an arrangement, right, between parents who are no longer in a romantic relationship like myself, but still want to make sure ukuthi their child grows up in an environment where there is love and safety. So guys, you're about when ukula, right, we all have this whole picture drawn out of how we would actually like life to turn out, right? Like we have people that we look up to, we have people that we draw inspiration from. For my example, I look up to my mom because she raised me. So growing up, I had this whole picture of Guti, you know what, I want to go to school, go to varsity, finish varsity, and then get married, spend a few years with just me and my husband, and then maybe 3 years after getting married, and then I pop. I even had an idea at 27 I want to have my first child, and that is because my mom had me at 27. And life was looking at me like semnandi san and yeah, some of those things happened. I managed to finish school, I managed to finish varsity, I then started my internship, and then internship yam sana ukel fell pregnant, and then the following year I gave birth. Now I was 24 years old. And then gesana okunye nokunye ningangibuzi. Nama ngazi guys ningangibuzi. But that is just how life turns out. Like we plan certain things and then izinto zihambe left, and then boom, that is how the concept of co-parenting was introduced to me. I've never planned for it, I never thought of it for myself, and now that I had found myself in that space, I had to make sure Uguti I grow in the space, in the new space that I was now planted in. So when it comes to co-parenting, there are different styles that we use depending on the relationship that we have together as parents, depending on our personalities, and there's a lot that will determine which style we actually use. So there is the cooperative co-parenting, where parents are a team. Basically they make decisions together, they inform each other, and there's a great deal of teamwork. And then there's the parallel co-parenting, where you find that each parent is just doing their own thing. Everyone is doing the best that they can. Everyone is doing what they think will work for the child. And then there is the messy co-parenting, which is the conflicted co-parenting, where you actually find that there's a lot of tension between the parents. There's a lot of fighting, and in certain instances you find that there are also legal battles that are also involved. So whichever style that we actually use, in the end it will affect the child that we are actually trying to raise, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically. So it is very important that as parents we try and act in the best interests of the child. So currently I can say that I am practicing the parallel type of co-parenting, but that is not what I would actually like. As you grow, you actually evaluate how things work and what is working, and how you would maybe like to change certain things. So for myself, I would like to move from the parallel co-parenting and actually move towards the cooperative co-parenting. Because in my own little world, I've got this whole picture, right? And I usually have conversations with my child. Guti, you know what? As you grow, okay, you'll find by you'll have 4 parents. So you'll have me as your biological mom, you'll have the biological dad, and then you'll have your second mom, which is now gonna be the dad's partner, and then you'll have a second dad, which will be my partner. And then he's always like, "Ooh, but that's a lot." But in my own little world, I've got this whole picture where, in cases where we have our child having prize givings or school functions or whatever the case might be, we are there as parents to support all 4 of us where possible. Like if you pick up certain behaviors with the child, you are able to inform me, I'm able to do the same, and we are able to get to a solution or find a solution that will actually help. And maybe where you actually, like things like maybe you want to change schools for the child, right? So you pick up that maybe you've got a child that you would maybe say they are more of a creative than an academic. So you actually approach each other in saying, you know what, I've actually picked up that he's more of a creative than this. So how about we actually do this, you know? Co-parenting in a sense of having to ask the other person, how about we, as opposed to, hi, I'm doing this and that, you know, as opposed to informing, you know. So I don't know if any of you maybe think that's actually practical. I've seen it with others, but I've always wondered, like, how do we actually move towards that? So I think with myself and the parallel co-parenting, I wouldn't actually say, Uguti, I chose parallel co-parenting because of a specific reason. I think it just drifted towards that part. But I think most of us have the thinking that the less communication, the less interaction, the less the drama and whatever, because we've got a lot going on. We've got the baby mama drama, we've got the baby daddy drama, kuningi, guys. So I think that's the thinking that we have, most of us, not all of us, and then maybe that's why we drift towards that. For myself, my concern with regards to parallel co-parenting is that I feel Uguti it will result in umdana that will be conflicted, you know, in terms of him or her having to make certain decisions. It will put them at a position where now they will feel Uguti maybe they have to choose between what umami says and udaddy says. And I don't think that's a good position to put umdana in. For example, I will be teaching him, Uguti, I want you to finish school, then go to university, get good grades, get a great job. And then maybe, for example, the dad will be saying, I just need you to finish school, start a great business, make money, and be stable for the rest of your life. Now, none of those ideas are actually wrong, but now, which decision must he go with? And everything else now, he will have to feel Uguti, he has to choose between the 2 of you. But as opposed to if it was cooperative, then you would have a decision with each other, then that is what you would actually take to the child, you know. Cooperative co-parenting would be the deal for me, but yeah, and yes, guys, you know, it's easier said than done. With cooperative co-parenting, it's not just as easy like that, because we now need to remember, Uguti, it's not just going to be the biological mom and the biological dad or the biological parents, right? Now we also need to factor in the partners, you know, and there are certain maybe conversations that we need to have in order to sensitize them, you know, because I think if you are going to have frequent conversations, or if you are going to be in a close relationship with the other parent, then there might be concerns, sana, there is just too much interaction, there is just too much communication between the 2 of you. So at some point we need to be able to have conversations with our partners as well, Guti. This is the kind of parenting style we have. So it shouldn't be a concern for you, and actually make them abe grand in knowing ukuthi, you know what, I have conversations, I have these kind of interactions with the other parent, but also it is solely based on the child and nothing more and nothing less. So I really don't know, guys, and obviously set boundaries in that, knowing that we need to respect our partners. For example, as baby mamas, kuthiwa siyathanda ufonela our baby daddies at night just to discuss which school we want to take the child to next year. Stop that thing. Because I think, you know, with the parallel co-parenting style as well, you find ukuthi most of our communications are financial. So maybe I will be calling the dad only to say ukuthi esikoleni kufuna 500 yomntana, esikoleni kufuna 200 yebrukwe. And I think it takes way more, you know, to raise an entire human being than just having conversations that revolve around money. How are you guys doing it? Like, can we educate each other? Can we give each other tips? Obviously, there are so many factors, right, that influence the co-parenting style. It will also depend if you guys were ever in a romantic relationship. Also, how you break up sometimes factors in how you decide to co-parent, your personalities, and there's just a lot. But how are you guys navigating this space of co-parenting? I mean, also, I think we are all adults. Also, we are all human beings. I think also we can find space of reaching middle ground and making decisions together, you know. And I think abantwana guys bangakula kamandi also and easier. When I was initially introduced to co-parenting, like, I had a lot of concerns, I had a lot of fears. Does this mean umntanam will also now grow up without a father? And that's a trauma response, I understand. But also, like, we live in a society where some men decide when to stop parenting, you know. They can easily resign, they can easily call it quits, and then umdu ayeke parent. Also, I was worried ukuthi, what kind of an example am I setting for my child, that it's okay to make babies only for parents to separate? Am I gonna cope mentally, emotionally, financially? Because also, if you were in a romantic relationship with this person, now you need to understand ukuthi, you're not just dealing with you having to co-parent and you having to educate yourself and find a way around this new concept, but also you are dealing with basically a breakup. Kuningi man here, but I'm grateful that eventually I have grown in the space, not fully, because obviously I have said that I've got a great deal of work to work on, because I want to move from parallel to cooperative co-parenting for the sake of the child and ensuring that they are growing in a very safe environment. Not all spaces are meant to torture you or bring out the worst in you. Certain circumstances are put in your life to bring out actually the best in you, because I am in a space where I'm co-parenting, but I can never say Uguti only the worst has come out of it. I owe my hard-working spirit to co-parenting, because now I was put in a space where Dioiga, I'm not sure how well this whole thing is going to work out. So I have had to push myself and work hard in order to make sure Uguti, whatever happens, whether things are good or whether things take south, I am good, I'm able to provide. And also secondly, because my child stays with me now, and he was with me most of the time growing up, right? And would occasionally visit the dad. So because he's with me most of the time, I have had to then make sure Guti, I'm as present as I can be in his life, you know, so that he can make sure Uguti, he doesn't feel Uguti, the one parent is not always here, even though he goes to him on holidays and spends time. So that has improved my parenting as well, so I am a very present parent. And thirdly, you know, when I was growing up, I used to say, "Ba, asoze sana mna ndijole nomfana nomntana." I can never, and that is because I've never seen myself being able to love a child that is not mine, but love them as my own. But now that I have my own child, it has softened up my heart. So it's easy for me to actually take omnye umntana as just umntana and not have to go deep into separating ukuthi angowam ngo, you know, those things that couples do. I really don't like lantuti. You find ukuthi kuthiwa lo ngowam, lo ngowam, and then lo ngowethu, that kind of nonsense. I really don't like that. So for me, it's now easy to warm up to another kid that is not my own and be able to actually love them as my own. And all those things I've developed with co-parenting. So not all spaces are meant to break you, man. You find what's good in whatever space that you're planted in at that time, and you find a way to grow. But kanichoni, guys, like silapa ngoku, silapa, like what co-parenting styles do you use? What's working for you? What's not working for you? What would you like to see? What would you maybe like to change? Like nenzanjani, guys, because sana, that's a doubting thing. How do we navigate the space that we have now found ourselves in? Like sometimes you find, well, we've got our differences as human beings, but let's just do it for the kids, like in the best interest of these little people. Please do share your comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next video. Bye.